All right. I'm sure most of our colleagues here are familiar with these graphs, but I would like to re-explain it for our customers and our guests who do not know them very quickly. Here you have you could imagine three people, Mr. X, Mr. Y, and Mr. Z, in a meeting. And that is a very respectful conversation pattern. That is a very respectful conversation pattern that is taking place in this meeting, where Mr. X starts speaking, and roughly when he's finished his sentence, Mr. Y jumps in. And then after Y has spoken, X speaks again, and Y again. Z is not sleeping. Mr. Z is not sleeping. No, he's just waiting for his turn to speak. And that would be what, let's call it the sequential mode. That would be a fairly respectful way to interact in a meeting in the US, in Germany, in Northern Europe, and so on. So quite a few countries. Now, if we go to Japan, if you go, and I'm glad we have some British colleagues there, and because if you go to the UK to a lesser degree, if you go to Finland to a very, very strong and large degree, you would have a conversation pattern where silence is dearly appreciated. In Japan, silence is a key value. Not only do you have these proverbs, Chinmoku Akin, which means something like silence is gold. You have that in many, many languages of the world. But there, I would say, it's true. It's true. So after X has spoken, before Y jumps in, it would be very usual to say, だから、それは大切なものですね. And this little moment of silence is very appreciated. It just shows to X that Y has thought very carefully about what he has just said before answering. An additional thing is that in the Japanese structure of the language, if you look at the grammar, if you look at the way the sentences are built, you would have very often at the end, in the very last words, the verb, and the verb finishing with a positive or a negative form, or interonegative, and all the many, many incredible subtle nuances that the Japanese could do. And if you would interrupt, if you wouldn't listen, if you were not to listen to the Japanese sentence until the end, you just wouldn't understand the opinion of your counterpart. And so it's absolutely crucial to do that. If I go back again in linguistics, you would have also in grammar, Japanese is built the way that you would say, because I read your report, because I've got information from the competitors, because you attended the meeting and we had a very convenient and we had a very profitable meeting last time, because, therefore, I agree. Or therefore, I agree we should invest $1 million in this machine. And this because, you remember, communicates in a very soft way, but doesn't deliver the substance of what you have to say. So therefore, listening to people until the end is absolutely crucial. And this word, chinmoku, that is the two kanji that are designed there, has more than in other countries of the world, a really, really strong value. So if you want now to compare with the third pattern of them, you've seen that I've switched to more Southern Europe, Latin America. France is part of it in this sense. No doubt you will find that in China as soon as the relationship is established. You would say that 2 or 3 people may, sometimes 4, be quite apt to speaking together. They're very good at that. And what do they want to demonstrate? They want to demonstrate cleverness, interest, passion, being part of the meeting, being clever enough not to let Mr. X finish because I well understood what he had to say for already 1 or 2 seconds. So I want to jump in. But obviously, when this model meets this one, and I know that some of our UK colleagues know that very intimately, you have a strange feeling. If you look at it from the British perspective or from the Japanese perspective, being cut, interrupted, participating in this sort of meeting is tough. They just don't know how to react. They just don't know, and we can all imagine, they feel frustrated, they do not feel respected, and there are times they're just not used to being part of this meeting. So, interesting point. And let me insist again on the value of chinmoku, on the value of silence.
Long,
If